But somehow we gotta lose from what was so tight. Somewhere we were wrong, when we were so right. So when you just can't take all. Now I'm trying again, and now I'm sick the end. Tell me what's the use of holding on if we can't be friends? I'm emotional, I'm like I'm trying to know it hurts me, so it hurts me. I let you know that the love we must share now. See, I seem to hurt me personally. I didn't understand that. Oh girl, why me? I had no choice but for us. Was to terminate our love and be free. What's left to do? You just can't take all. What's left to do? Now we try again, and now I'm sick the end. Tell me what's the use of holding on if we can't be friends? I'm emotional, and I can't like I'm trying to hold. It hurts me so hard that you know that the love we want to share. All right, what is up? What is up? What is up? 360 in the house. Can y'all hear me? Let's get that out of the way first. Let's make sure you guys can hear me. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know that it's good. We're good. Sound is good. NG Rob, come on. What is wrong with my playlist? Do you not like R&B? Who doesn't like R&B? Like, come on. Look, I love 80s music too. I even love a little country, but R&B is where it's at. If you don't like R&B, we probably cannot be friends. I don't know. What's going on, everybody? It has been a while. Extremely happy. Barry White. No, it depends. It depends. That's really going back a little ways. So yeah, it's been a hot minute. I've been on the road. Wonderful, wonderful trip. Finished, done. I'm back in the saddle. So we are full speed ahead. We're going to get back to our weekly video series. And of course, that's going to start today with a market review because a lot has happened. Now, nothing that has happened is, for me, is surprising. And we're going to talk a little bit about why. And then we're going to talk also about a small theory that I have. It's not even an important theory because what is coming, it can't be stopped. But this particular theory has struck me, especially considering the way that stocks have acted over the last couple of days, yesterday and today, versus, okay, NG Rob, I'm glad you actually like something that I have here. You like my bowl? I know. It's pretty. It's actually lit up. You just can't see it very well because it's daytime, but at night, it's quite sexy. At nighttime, it's quite sexy on its own because it really looks ominous at night, but it's daytime, so you can't really see that. Yeah, Whiskey Reaper. Yeah, that's exactly right. That is my theory. We're going to talk about it. Yeah, NZ Rob, Amazon. I guess it's just me and you today, Rob. It's just going to be me and you today. All right, so shall we get started? All right, let's do it. So right now, if you listen to narrative, if you listen to everything that's going on, we have a absolute tariff war. Now, it's going to seem like that at first. Obviously, April 3rd was the big Independence Day, whatever he calls it. Liberation Day, yes. Called Liberation Day by President Trump and his cohorts. And that involved a massive series of tariffs on Yeah, pretty much every nation in the book. So I want to talk real quick about that and this narrative. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the overall market, including stocks, because there is something very important that I want to talk about in comparison with legacy stocks and crypto and what's happening right now with the future of finance versus traditional finance. So we're going to try to just strap in, tie everything together, and try to do it in like 30 minutes. And we're going to do some charting as well. Not on altcoins. There's literally no reason to talk about altcoins right now, but we are going to address Bitcoin and Ethereum because those are the two that everything else is going to be swinging from. So that's where we're going to spend this video. And then in the other videos, we can get knee deep into other things like altcoins. All right. So we have what everyone is assuming is a Tariff war. So it's going to start out like that. If you saw my tweet this morning, some of my morning posts, if you're a large nation and you have another large nation that comes out dirty, or you perceive it to be dirty, you're going to start out puffing your chest. Okay. And we already saw that from China, who is coming back with its own set of retaliatory tariffs. That's how it's going to happen at the beginning. Okay. So it's going to look like a tariff war out the door, out the gate. Why? Because other nations are not going to want to appear weak. So I do anticipate, especially from the larger nations, I think the EU probably sets out some as well. I think we see, a few more retaliatory tariffs over the next few days. But I do believe that this is going to evolve into an eventual stalemate. And exactly what President Trump wants is what? Deals. That's really all he wants. So, we're putting the countries in an armbar, putting countries in between a rock and a hard place, because trust me, it's not good for anybody. There's a lot of people posting on Twitter how it's doom and gloom for America. No, it's bad for everybody. In the manner that this is going to go down, it's not good for anybody. So everybody that's singling out America, like, oh, America's done, they're going to go down in flames, because no, you're not thinking. You're literally not thinking big picture. All right. A tariff war does nobody any good. The original intent and design. And for anybody that does not understand President Trump, you just don't grasp the concept. The concept is to bring folks to the table to wheel and deal. How do we know this? Because he's already done it. He's done it with many individual corporations. We're going to talk about that because we have a two-pronged thing going on here. One, you have nations, other countries with tariffs. So he wants countries to come to the table so he can wheel and deal with them. But there is another factor, and that factor is already playing out. And what is that? Foreign companies, individual companies who want to avoid any tariff war, any items of tariff at all, to do deals. We've already seen it. One of China's largest chip makers is immune from these tariffs. There are many companies. We've got a French boating company that's made deals. So we've got a lot of this already that's already brought in trillions and trillions of dollars to the United States. So it looks like a tariff war right now. Stock markets are knee-jerking, panic response, which we're going to look at. I'm going to show you that in the chart. Remember, these type of things operate off of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So what you're seeing right now in stocks is that to a perfect point. It's not replicating in crypto right now, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But what I want to tell you regarding the tariff war is, and it's like surgery. When you are changing the entire dynamics of a country's way of economics in all forms, not small. These aren't tiny changes that's happening in the U.S. when it comes to finances, monetary policy, global monetary policy. It's an entire, and President Trump actually used the term surgery. That's exactly what it is. Not a minor surgery, a major surgery. It's a major surgery. And so things are going to look bad. Things like I used before the example of a doctor sometimes has to re-break the bone in order for that to heal properly. That's exactly what you're seeing right now. And so it's going to look bad. It could get worse before it gets better. It's doing that with stocks because we have 2 straight days, yesterday and today, where stocks are absolutely getting hammered in a big way. And they're leaving very large gaps above. And we're going to look at that on the chart. They're leaving very, very large gaps above. Why? Because it's a fear-based move. All right, panic type selling. Those gaps will eventually fill once stocks have bottomed. Now, that's not going to happen overnight. It just isn't. I've told my stock traders this. It's not going to happen overnight. Bottoms can take a while to form. And right now, they're still dropping. So you don't want to really catch a falling knife as things are dropping. We talk about the principle of buying low, sell high. I keep preaching this. Like everybody says that like it's easy. Peter Lynch, one of the great Wall Street investors of all time, said, the secret to investing is to buy low, sell high. And so everybody's like, yes, easy, I can do it. Okay, can you? Can you? Because if you really can buy low and sell high, then what is actually required when it comes time to actually perform that? It requires the ability to buy fear. So the market is in an absolute capitulatory state of fear where stocks are getting panic sold and you have it dropping significantly. Now, the secret to buying low is not to buy it as it's dropping. So not as it's pummeling, as it's got momentum. Right now, stocks have momentum down. The catch is to wait, all right? And you want to wait, and you wait for stocks to indicate that they are at some level of support. So what you want to see before you start buying or before you begin to accumulate. And remember, just because you start to accumulate does not mean that things have 100% bottomed. It just means it's showing some area of support, meaning you wait for some sign that buyers are starting to re-enter the market. And they do that at what? Support levels. And when markets do hit support levels and they start to level off a little bit, you even get bounces, you get some consolidation there, then you have potential opportunities to actually accumulate with the ability to average down if it does go lower. Because you're already buying a discount. Right now, stocks are way off their highs. So they're not just way off their highs, they're leaving massive amounts of liquidity above by way of these gaps, which we're going to take a look at. So a person that has the philosophy of buy low, sell high, remember, stocks have been on a rampage, on a torrent. So anyone coming into the market towards the end of 2024, into the beginning of 2025, you're buying new highs. Like that's what you're doing. And look, if your term is very long-term, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, then it's not a big deal. It's fine. You just have to weigh this stuff out. But for those that see these drops, because these drops are the ones that spell opportunity. The problem is there's so much fear across the market that very few people ever actually buy low. Why? Because psychology works opposite of buy low, sell high. It just does. Because when you talk about buying low, you're talking about, Wall Street calls it buying the blood in the streets, buying bloody streets. That's what it's called. You're having to buy panic. You're having to buy fear. But that is, of course, how it's done. All right. So there we are with that. So very interestingly enough, I believe over the next few weeks, I think we see the tariff war from the large countries, everybody puffing out their chest, everybody showing that they're not weak, blah, 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 blah. But I do believe we see that evolve into deals. Okay. I believe we begin to see countries start coming to the table over the next month to 2 months, coming to the table, and big time deals are made, which help both nations. And plus, I think we continue to see foreign companies, individual companies that don't want these tariffs, make deals to do business in the U.S. Why? Because we're already seeing it. It's already been, even before the tariffs got launched, he's already brought in, I think, 7 trillion plus. I think it's way more than that by now, in money from private deals with private foreign companies. So this is my purview on stocks. Again, for stock people, wait for things to settle, wait for things to validate that they have in fact bottomed, wait for a show of money to start flowing back in, at which point you could then begin to accumulate key positions in hot niches. All right. So you want to pay attention to the hot niches. Those hot niches are very simply quantum computing, robotics, artificial intelligence, those type of things that are groundbreaking technologies. Those are the things that you want to be focused on when you set yourself up for the next 5-10 years of investing. And it's going to be very easy to do that. And you are getting a gift horse right now. You literally, this is what dreams are made of. All right. It looks nasty. It looks dirty. It looks scary. That's just how do you think people make it in the stock market? And this is why very few do. Because these are golden opportunities when you get the stock market correcting like it is now. So enough on that. But what we are noticing, and I do want to address this, is we are noticing significant uncorrelation or decorrelation between stocks and crypto. Stocks got absolutely shattered yesterday, and yet Bitcoin and Ethereum held their supports. Now, today, and we're going to look at the charts, I think Bitcoin's actually up right now. Like, stocks getting absolutely smashed, and yet Bitcoin and Ethereum actually holding ground. And this is my theory. And look, it's a theory because, and we're going to look at the chart of Bitcoin and Ethereum because neither Bitcoin and Ethereum have confirmed that they are not going to go lower. Now, they have begun bottoming formations. They have. And we're going to look at the chart, and I'm going to show you this and that so that you can see it with your own eyes. But there's no final, in order for there to be confirmation that a bottom is pretty much set, you would need what's called a change of character or a chach on the chart. And that would be Bitcoin and Ethereum actually breaking one of the lower highs from previous on the way down. And we'll look at that in just a second so you can see what's needed there. But what do I like? What do I like is cryptocurrency is immune from anything tariff. It just is, by nature of what it is, by nature of the fact that it's blockchain. This tariff thing has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. And it's why you're not seeing crypto get absolutely hammered with stocks. And before you say, well, stock markets and crypto, they're not correlated. Come on. Over the last year, they've been so correlated. It's been incredible. Now, they're not always correlated. You know, they don't always move together, but we all know that lately they have been very, very correlated. Why? Because in this cycle of crypto, many Wall Street type players are involved in crypto this time. And so you get to see a lot of the same type of fears and frets. The difference is the fears of tariffs, the fears of these import-export taxations, while they're scary to stock, Wall Street, traditional finance, say that, traditional finance, and you can even do the shoulder jerk, traditional finance has nothing to do with future of finance, nothing at all. And so I think that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. I mean, we're not talking about stocks pulling back. We're talking about stocks getting absolutely smashed. And Bitcoin and Ethereum are like, what? I mean, this is what's happening. It just is. And so the theory is that could we be entering an era due to the political machine that has been setting the stage for what's coming for crypto in an insane way? Do we begin to see finally a divergence between stocks and crypto heading into mid 2025, end of 2025, possibly even beginning of 2026? It could very well be. And if you do recall the last cycle in 2020, while stocks and crypto were correlated for a time, stocks moved first, went up really, really well, and then crypto did after, and stocks kind of chilled out. Stocks have been pretty much parabolic all through 2024 into the very beginning of 2025 before we finally got this big correction. All of a sudden, now crypto hasn't, it's been a Bitcoin driven cycle, not Ethereum and altcoins. So we haven't seen that divergence, the same divergence between the two that we saw last cycle. This cycle, I think we not only see it, but we see it in a very, very magnified way. Okay? In a magnified way. So again, I just wanted to give you that because I mean, there's no way you're not seeing what's happening over the last 2 days. Some of you aren't in stocks at all. That's why I'm telling you. Some of you aren't in stocks, especially some of my crypto OGs. You're just full crypto, so you might not know what's happening with stocks. So let's go ahead and do a share screen and take a gander because I want you to see this. Stand by. Get set up because I got to move you guys. I got to move you to a different screen here. Yeah, I mean, look, Bitcoin even right now up 220. Stocks, what's that? I get it. But I do need you to see this, to see that I'm not just talking crap. So we're going to look at the 3 major stock indexes. That's the Dow 30 largest market cap companies. We're going to look at 30 of the largest market cap companies, and we're going to look at the NASDAQ, and then we're going to look at S&P. We're going to do it quickly because I want you to see what's happening with stocks. Look at that. Bam! All right. Very, very parabolic 2024. Very, very parabolic 2024. Incredible gains. That's from here to here. Get a double top. This is what has happened in the last 2 days. Here's the gap down, bam. This morning, gap down, bam, coming down into new support. That's 2 days. $2,000 plus drop so far combined in 2 days. That's the Dow Jones. S&P, the S&P 500. Two days. There's the gap down yesterday, tariffs, and then bam, price just continued to go. Never filling the gap. By the way, when you get these gaps, that's huge liquidity left behind, lots of money left behind. These will eventually fill. That's why I'm excited about this drop for stocks, because it's, like I said, it's a golden opportunity. By the way, look at this one today. This gap down again, closed all the way, traded all the way down to the next level of support, which is right here. And then bounced off of that and is now right here. Huge, huge liquidity. Huge, huge liquidity. Remember, this is stocks. I just need you to see it. I just need you to see it so that you understand how significant crypto has been in the last 2 days. And then this is the NASDAQ. All the tech stocks. Yesterday, gap down. Bam. Kept going. Never filled. This morning, major gap down. Look, right into support. It actually traded that low. Right into the next level of support. But you've got 2 major gaps here. These will fill. It's only a matter of time. These will fill. So I've just shown you stocks in the last 2 days. Bitcoin. This is the daily chart. Yesterday, today. Yesterday, today. Support. Completely unaffected by the tariff shenanigans, Wall Street shenanigans. Completely unaffected. Shift? I mean, this is significant. Jim Cramer. I should smack you for that. Jim Cramer. We always trade opposite of whatever Jim Cramer says, for those that don't know. So let's go ahead and open this up. I want you guys to see how significant this is. My elite know about this already. This is a very significant thing happening right now. Let's go ahead and open this chart up a bit so you can see the full effect here. All right, let me explain. So this is Bitcoin. And this is the macro trend line, okay? This is the bear market base. Just so you can see, this is Bitcoin's bear market base. After the last cycle, bear market base. Once it exited, it never came back in it. And then it began, this is where we begin the beginning of our trend line, where we begin the beginning. Does that make any sense? So I just wanted you to see this chart so you can see what we're looking at here. So we're focusing on now on this trend line. This is the macro trend line for Bitcoin. All right. So we've got a touch here, here, and here before this broke out from this 220-day and ran 100% plus. And then we have this temporary top. It is a temporary top. I don't care who tells you that it's the top or the end of the cycle. It's a temporary top. How do we know this? We know this because there's zero distribution end of cycle selling volume. It's just not there. We also know that because on-chain is showing us that even right now I'm going to zoom in on this. You've seen this? I'm going to zoom in on this area right here. So you know what this line is, and you know what this line is. All right, so let's zoom in so you can see it better. Yeah. Yep. So there's the trend line right here. Here's where price is. For me, this would be the lowest case for Bitcoin if Bitcoin is headed lower. Now, there is liquidity here. That's what this FVG is. It's a fair value gap. So there is some internal liquidity right here, which would take price right down to the trend line if it happens. However, there is also a potential bottom forming here in the form of an inverted head and shoulders, where here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, and here's the head. Now, I'm not counting the wick here. I'm actually counting candle body action and then candle body action here. So you got two shoulders, and you have your head, and you have your highest sell volume in the left shoulder. That's where you want it. So that's one thing that most people, when they try to talk about head and shoulders patterns, they have no clue, because it's not just about the price action or it looking like a head and shoulders, you know, two small humps on the outside and one big hump on the inside. No, it has to have a lot more than that for it to be valid. And one thing for an inverted head and shoulders, which would be considered bullish or a reversal pattern, is you want your highest selling volume in the left shoulder. Why? So here's your highest selling volume in the left shoulder. Notice the selling volume decreases throughout. Why? Because you want your selling to be dying out here. And that way you know that even as this goes lower or tests the lows, it's on less selling. Less selling. What does that tell you? It tells you that sellers are exhausting. And then on into the right shoulder, that sellers are exhausting. And so you do have that descending selling volume there. Now, this would still need to confirm. To be bullish, but it's there. And then you have your descending trend line. But I'm going to show you what the neckline would look like for this. Shoulders, you have a neckline. All right, for me, this is the neckline. Right in there. So this would be my neckline. And you can see there's no close above the neckline. All right. But what I like about this and why I like the descending neckline better than the horizontal is because the descending neckline leaves shorts stacked up. All right. So all your people that are shorting this, they're stacked up here, here, and here. That's right. Everybody's shorting Bitcoin. This is where their stop losses are at. So they're shorting, they're wanting price to go lower. So they're stacked. So this could be setting up, and this never even took out these. Look, notice how this wick only came even here. So what that means is, let me show it to you so you can see it. Yeah. So even on this wick, these shorts never got liquidated. They're still in play. Yep. This never took out that liquidity. You see that? So all of these shorts are there. So if price can manage to be bullish and move up above, it is going to start taking out all of these shorts. And bulls need a reclaim of this range. And that begins at 90K. This is 90K. And that is where your first set of shorts are. Yep. That's where your first set of external liquidity is, shorts. This is where their stop losses are at. So if bulls can take over down here and get a breakout, then they can go ahead and squeeze out these shorts and then create a domino effect and push this back up into this median here. This is the median of this range. Bulls reclaiming this level right here and holding it as support, for me, would be mega, mega, mega bullish. So this does not have to fill down here. However, if this resistance holds up, then bears will try to push down and grab this liquidity here. This is where I would be looking to long. This is what I would consider to be probably worst case, down to a potential 68K. If Bitcoin cannot get a foothold up here and decides to come down, this is where you'll probably see a lot of money come in to the market for Bitcoin. So Chach would be breaking for a Chach to happen, a change of character, you want to go to the low. This is the low. And then you want to go to the high before that. And so that's right here. So in order for us to have a change of character, meaning the trend is done. So you have this trend. This is a downtrend. Bang, 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 bang. Now we have a potential higher low. All right, let me show it to you. Path. All right, here's your down. Boop, 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 boop. Now, this finishes here. Oop. All right, so here's your downtrend. So in order for a downtrend to be reversed, you must break the high before the lowest low. And that would be this point right here. Actually, let's say this one. Legitimately would be this one. This would be your Chach or change of character. Chach. All right, so you can see the work that has to be done. So what do we have here? We don't remember lower highs, lower lows. Here's your lowest low. Potential for a higher low. I know we're doing some charting today. I told you we would. So why is it potential? Because this needs to confirm by breaking its previous high. Now, this still isn't the Chach, all right? Because it's not the high before the lowest low. So to find your Chach point, you go to the lowest low. You find the high that precedes that. So price needs to break this in order for this to have a change of character. However, in order for this to validate as a higher low, we need price to break this high right here. And that would give us what? A potential bottom. So we are looking for bottoming here. You're welcome, Whiskey Reaper. Yeah, in the form of the inverted head and shoulders. Why did I say potential? I said potential because this still has to play out. Oops. All of this right here still has to play out. And you can't unsee this down here. So you can't neglect that there is liquidity down here. So it's about everything that happens right here, right now. But for Bitcoin to hold up against stocks in the last 2 days, for Bitcoin to hold up for the last 2 days is a very, 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 very positive thing. Very positive. Let's take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum's bottom looks a lot different. Ethereum's potential bottom is, in fact, a potential double bottom. And it's currently at support. Which means if bears are going to take this lower, right now is their time, is their shot at doing it. All right? Why? Because it's got, you do have a bounce here, and it's basically sitting right at support. Okay, unlike Bitcoin, which is in that inverted head and shoulders. Unlike Bitcoin. So right now we have a potential double bottom. If this does break, then this is headed to 1500, which is this level of support right here. If this breaks. So 1500, this would happen if Bitcoin decided to head lower and fill that inside liquidity. However, if it holds up, then I expect Ethereum's to also hold support. But this is why right now is a great time to sit on your hands. Let's kind of do the same thing that we did with Bitcoin. And right there, right there. Yep. And so your charge point would be basically right up here. So again, just like on Bitcoin, we're looking to confirm if these are in fact going to be bottoms. We're looking to see if these are in fact going to be bottoms. It's that simple. It's that simple. Both for Bitcoin and Ethereum. We do not have enough information. It's why for right now, especially with the narrative that's being driven right now, it's best to just wait and see. So let's do, let me bring you guys back over to my main screen. So it's that simple. It's that simple. You can clearly see that Bitcoin has the space to go lower and has lower liquidity. You can't unsee it. But there is a potential formation of a bottom occurring at the same time. Both need confirmation. They just do. No one can call that. No one can call it. You just can't call it. Yes, I am going to be doing Whiskey Reaper. I am going to be getting into altcoins, just not in this video, or this video would absolutely take forever. So we can't do that. I really just want this to be about the overall market. But what I do want to talk about right now is what's happening in the US, because it's happening very, very quickly. Right now, the United States, where it's concerned with crypto, is all about one thing. Can anybody guess? Hit me up in the chat if you know what it is. What is the priority right now in the United States? Glasses. I'll post my glasses. Oh, regulation for what? White swan. There's going to be tons of white swans. Nope. Regulation for what, NC Rob? Oh, Donovan in the house. Donovan. Period. Their sole focus is stablecoins. Why? Anybody? Bueller? Why? Why? MC Rob! It is all about fixing the way we look and use and back the US dollar, period. Because stablecoins do what? They mirror another asset. Almost every stablecoin in existence, except a few, mirror the US dollar. They just do. They mirror the US dollar. And guess what? Everybody and their mother is making them. Everybody. Bank of America, blah, 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 blah. I posted dozens of those tweets to tell you who's making them. So what must they do for stablecoins? What is the main requirement for a stablecoin to exist? One-to-one reserves. Yes, actually be backed by an asset. And what is one of the main assets? I'm asking, what is one of the main assets that stablecoins will be buying? Come on. Who's been listening to old 360? In a way, yes, they're buying Bitcoin. That's not the main one. That's not where most of the money's going. Come on. What is the main asset that stablecoins are? Earnest TAJ, US Treasuries. Yeah, baby. US Treasuries. Come on. Yes. So the dollar will be backed by stablecoins, which will be backed by assets. And yes, Bitcoin is one of those things. So right now, that is what the main focus is of crypto regulation in the United States. And then I think, and listen closely, because we have a ton of white swans coming for crypto this year. Tons. Very quickly after that, I do believe that President Trump and his conglomerates move to completely eviscerate and redo taxes. Taxation. I think that's next on the docket. And it's going to be magnificent. It's going to be extremely different than anything we've ever had. I mean, they pretty much absolved at least 50% of the IRS is closed down and fired. Like it's going to be completely burn it all to the ground and start over. And with that, the focus of tax reinvesting, especially in the future of money, you have traditional finance, which right now is getting killed with stocks. You have right now the future of finance, which is cryptocurrency, stablecoins, and US-based cryptos actually holding strong and going to get much better over the year. So we have that coming. So I just wanted to put that out there because that is what is occurring in the US with crypto. Right now, they are focused. Matter of fact, the Financial House just approved yesterday the Stable Act for stablecoins. So that's moving now into the actual House and the Senate to get approved. I think we could see that approved possibly even by end of the month. Can you imagine having a regulatory framework for stablecoins by end of month? That would fast track everything else they want to do with crypto. I mean, fast track. And I think they'll begin to move into taxes and changing that entire system. So that's what's coming up. I've got to close this video out because I've been talking forever. But we are back on track with weekly videos. I am going to be initiating altcoin madness again. That starts next week. So that's coming, altcoin madness. And then as well for my elite and all of my subscribers, my folks, we're going to be doing some portfolio shifting based on the evolution of crypto. And by the way, it's so significant. If you're not a member, you need to join. The evolution of crypto is so significant, and there's something dynamic happening right now that is changing us from a 4-year cycle to something much more powerful. And my elite know what that is. And then also for my elite, I just took a tour of the 360 Elite app. It is outstanding. It is insane. And I think that's going to launch and go live by May. Guys, I hope you love this. This video, as well as all of our videos, are brought to you by the great 4cmediaco.com. Make sure that you're following them. And it's the best for global financial news. It's not just crypto news anymore, guys. It's not just crypto news anymore. It is global finance. Do you understand this? Like that separation, like that we've had other cycles, crypto over here, finances over here, that worked the first 2 times. That is no longer a thing. They are no longer separated. And anybody that thinks they are is about to get smacked, punched right in the mouth. Not by me. I'm nonviolent. But it's going to get punched right in the face. Global financial news, because that is the shift. And that's what we're walking into. Love you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, baby, here comes the boom.